Hi there. Today I want to talk to you about the 4 pillars of health. So the 4 pillars of health are exercise, diet, rest, and mental health. I specifically want to show you today some of the exercise activities that I do. So what I do is I go for a run on a regular basis. I try and go for a run at least 2 to 3 times a week. And what I also do is I do stretching exercises and yoga poses to help me with my flexibility and my core strength, usually in the mornings. So it's part of my morning routine. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the exercises that I do. Now, the thing about routines is when you put an exercise routine together, there are going to be times when you don't stick to that routine, and this is perfectly normal because there are going to be times that you're traveling, or you will find that you are feeling ill, or you're not feeling well, you've got a cold and you don't want to strain your heart, and so you skip some of your exercise time and those routines drop off. Now, the thing to do there is to pick those routines back up at any time that you can. I have a checklist which I use to remind myself of all the things that I need to do. So in my morning journal, which includes some work on gratitude and some planning around what the day is going to be like and some positive affirmations, I have a checklist which is my morning checklist. And on my morning checklist I have the things that I need to remember to do, because I find that if I haven't done my morning routine for quite a long time, let's say I've been away on holiday, like I have been to South Africa recently, I took a retreat as I'm between jobs and I needed to reflect on the future of where I want to go, what I want to do next. And I didn't do any of my morning routine activities while I was away on the retreat. And so it's easy to forget the sequence of events and the things that I used to do before. And this is why I find checklists really, really helpful. Checklists are things that in really complicated environments, like I work in the engineering industry, and there's a lot of really complicated projects and complicated things that need to be done in a construction of a big chemical plant or an oil and gas facility or a renewable energy facility. And the way that engineers deal with those types of issues is they put checklists together. And so you work through a detailed checklist, and that way you make sure that you do everything that needs to be done. So a checklist is a good way to remind yourself of all the things that are in your morning routine. So in my morning routine, I have drink some water, spend 2 minutes outside just to get a feel for the weather and wake up, do exercises and stretches, do some meditation, complete my 5-minute journal, do my affirmations, do my sevens mirror work through this year's goals and objectives, look at my life goals, do visualization exercises, and have a look at my vision board. So those are all the things that are in my morning routine checklist. Some days I do the full list, some days I only do part of the list. And it really depends on your energy and how you're feeling and what space you're in terms of whether you do the entire list or not. The point is not to feel overloaded and burdened and feel as though it's a massive chore. The thing that's really important with this is that it should energize you and it should make you feel ready for the day and make you feel as though you're having a better quality of life. So as some days come along and I'm not really up to some of these activities, I'll drop them out of the morning routine, and other days I'll follow the entire routine. Now, just getting onto the exercises and stretches. So I found when I was doing exercises and stretches, I would develop this organically. I would think in terms of, okay, my back is giving me problems, and the reason my back is getting sore is because I'm quite sedentary in my work environment and I spend a lot of time sitting. And so what I need to do is I need to find some type of exercise that's going to help me stretch my back and loosen it up a little bit, and also potentially build a little bit of strength on the muscles so that I can give my back the support it needs in any environment. So I started off my exercise and stretching routines by focusing on my upper body and specifically looking at my back. And so what I would do is I would do some cat stretches. I'm going to take you through them in a little while. And as I was doing that, I would then add to the exercises and start feeling, okay, I had surgery on my shoulder. My shoulder's quite sore, and so I included some of my shoulder exercises that I was given by my physio. And then while I was doing that, I thought, well, I might as well, while I'm here, do a little bit of work on a few push-ups and sit-ups, work on my tummy muscles and my core muscle strength. Not much, just a little bit, just to keep a little bit of maintenance activity going. The idea is not to build bulk or to, you know, change the way that I look at my physique. It's just about maintaining a bit of low-level physical strength to be able to do everyday activities without feeling uncomfortable. And then because I'm a runner, I spend quite a lot of time stretching my leg muscles. So I've got stretches that I do on my leg muscles. And I've added to these a few yoga activities that I've seen from 1 or 2 yoga classes that I've been to. And a friend of mine who is a yoga teacher who has added a few ideas to my repertoire. So essentially what's happened is over time I've built up this collection of exercises that I do. And what I find is when I've been away for a long time, I don't remember all the activities on my list, and that, well, it wasn't a list back then. And then I would feel as though I was starting from scratch, and there was a bit of loss of efficiency there. So what I then did was I started putting together a checklist for my exercises. And now that I have consolidated the exercises that I do, I've done little drawings for what the exercise looks like, and I can just work through the list and then remember, oh yes, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one. And the more frequently I do it, the more natural it becomes. And some days what I'll find is I won't stick to the list absolutely. I may add 1 or 2 things, or I may do a bit of a variation on it depending on how I'm feeling. So my stretches on my back, sometimes I'll be moving my back backwards and forwards, but then I'll feel that there's a piece on the right that's not feeling very good. And so what I'll do is I'll lean into that and just give it a bit of a stretch, which is a variation on one of the stretching exercises I do. So the idea with this is to have a list to help you remember all the things that you're going to do, and also to be able to be flexible around that list, to be able to modify it as you need on the day. So I'm going to take you through these exercises and just show you a little bit of what that looks like. The first exercise I'm going to do is stretching into my back. Oh man, it's amazing how tight that feels. So one of the things I do is that I use a timer just to give me an idea of how long my stretches are, because I want to stretch for about a minute, I think is enough for each individual exercise. And so you can count, but counting can be a little bit variable sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I just start the timer, I watch it for a minute, and then go on to the next minute for the next activity. It's really important to remember to breathe. Right, next up is my hyper extensions for my back. At the moment I'm really finding my back quite tight. I find the hyper extensions really strenuous. And part of what I'm thinking with these exercises is I want to do them frequently enough to the point where it's no longer strenuous for me, where it's quite easy to do a little bit of low exercise stretching, these yoga poses and moves. So the reason I'm struggling at the moment and why it's tight and sore is what it is because I haven't done it for such a long time. And this always reminds me that it's really important to keep this up on a regular basis, otherwise your body starts just losing that muscle memory, and it's easy then to get injured or to get hurt or to get sore when you do activities. So by building up the strength on a regular basis and maintaining that strength, it's really good for you to be able to just improve your strength, your posture, your flexibility. And last week when I was doing this, my stomach muscles were incredibly sore because I was just so unused to using them. I've got through that pain threshold and it's a lot easier to do that now. At the moment, the thing I'm struggling with is my back between my shoulder blades. That's where it's quite tight and sore. So I'm going to do a few more hyperextensions and then I'm going to move on to the next exercise. Right, next up is the plank. 1 minute of plank. When I started this, I was really struggling with it, and I've managed to develop enough core strength to be able to hold this for a minute without it being too much of a strain. The thing that happens with your muscles when you don't have strength is they tend to wobble and shake. So if you can hold something without wobbling or shaking, you know that your strength is looking really good. So that's the objective, is to be able to get to a point where you can do all these exercises without actually feeling any wobbling or shaking. Okay, that's 60 seconds. Now at this point, you see, I've already forgotten what I want to do next. Next up is my, shoulder exercises, rolling the shoulders. Ow, that hurts. Right, next up, these are the ones that really hurt. This one in particular. Really hurts my knee. Definitely think I've got a knee problem here. Right, that's it. I've done all my exercises, all my stretches on my list. Right now I feel as though my entire body, all the muscle groups are feeling quite warm and quite pleasant actually. I know even my sore back that I was struggling with between my shoulder blades while I was busy doing those exercises at the beginning of the exercise session, that's feeling fine at the moment. It's not feeling sore, it's not feeling tight, I'm not feeling any discomfort in it at the moment. And I know that if I keep this up for another 2-3 weeks, that I'm going to be feeling a lot stronger and a lot better. And this is my second week getting back into this routine. So I'm looking forward to feeling stronger and fitter. So that's all I wanted to share with you for the exercises and the stretches. I will also do a video on the running and aerobic exercise, which I also think is an important part of the 4 pillars of health. And I'll be in touch. Keep well.